Sonny Tv Arsenal, welcome. We've got a special show today and we've got some special guests on as well. What day is it today? I'm losing track. What day is it?
Tuesday.
What year are we in?
2020.
Honestly, everyone, this coronavirus now is actually getting to me, right? We are starting to climb the walls in here. Kids are fighting. Everything's happening. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like, you know, when Charlton Heston was on the horse in Planet of the Apes and he's going along the beach and then he sees the Statue of Liberty. They've finally done it. They've damned us all to hell. That's what it actually feels like. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with nothing. I've totally disregarded all the problems I've got. I don't know what's going on. I haven't left the front door. I've seriously, I've lost all touch of reality.
And it was all before he done the lockdown.
That was before the lockdown. That was before the lockdown, yeah. You know, I've stopped speaking to my friends and family, but that was a long time before this. Right. Let me introduce my guests. Down the bottom there, fighting at the blue corner, we've got Melvyn, the Destroyer. How you doing, Melv? You all right?
Yeah, all right, thanks. Hi, everybody.
And up the top, we got the Bethnal Green Basher, Steve.
Good evening, everybody.
And down the bottom, we've got Kieran, the suave, sophisticated Kieran. They do.
Right, I like that. I'll take that. What's you got for the other two?
All right, that's what we got, you go.
I do it myself.
And do you know what? This geezer in the bottom left, right? He don't need to build up. Everyone knows what he is, right? You got teenagers love him. You got mums love him, dads love him, old grannies love him, and the hairdresser who's got the shop down the bottom of his road, Jason, loves him as well. Right? So, Lee, how you doing, mate? You well?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Other than eating biscuits all the time, that's all I'm doing in a minute is eating biscuits. I'm so bored at home. Just you know, my ginger nuts, they're all gone. Yeah, I'm on another lot now. Like it's an absolute joke, really. But other than that, I'm all right, boys. I'm all right.
Well, he's finished eating the biscuits as well. Is it an Adrian Dunn as well? You set the ginger nut and all.
Yeah. I could eat him.
Hello to everyone in the comments. You know what? We was going to have a set agenda for today, right? But you know what? I don't do agendas. I'm a non-conformist, right? I set my own rules. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a general chit-chat, because especially when I meet an old mate like Lee and I ain't caught up for him for a while, you know, I'd rather know what he's up to than what Arsenal are up to. Because at the moment, let's face it, they're not up to anything, are they? They're not doing nothing. So rather than talk about the same old rubbish all over and over again, let's see where this conversation takes us. So everyone in the comments, because obviously there's a lot of participation on this show, I want you lot to set the agenda. Give me your ideas, what you want to talk about, and then we'll talk about that. Lee, quick question for you, right? This is coronavirus and all that, right? Yeah. Obviously, you're self-employed.
Yeah.
How's it affecting you? I'll take the shop shut now, innit?
Shop shut. I've got at this moment in time, no football, no sport, no job, no money. Just biscuits, but other than that, it's all right, like you know.
So basically, you're living my life.
Yeah, I'm back in the normal world, like you know what I mean. It's and it's tough, you know. Yeah, hopefully, like the government will sort out something, so you know, like things will get paid. But at the moment, you just got to you know, like what I've done is sort of the thing is, I'm not going out, I'm not spending no money really. It's just I'm just staying at home. There's nothing to do. You know, the highlight of the day is breakfast, followed by dinner and a walk. You know what I mean? And a podcast here and there. That is what it's like at the moment. And also, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to have a complaint. Like I was up all night last night because getting my worst 11 of Arsenal players. There's a lot of them.
Lee, that's Viagra, mate.
That's a lot of them, and then you turn around and say, we ain't doing that now, like you know. So, like you know, 16 pages of paper I've written them.
Do you know what? All right, okay. You know what? We're going to do a first 11 for next 20 minutes, then, yeah. And then we'll go from now. Right. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, who is prepared for this?
I haven't prepared at all. Who wants to go first?
Let the boys go before me.
Start with goalkeeper.
Go on, Lee. You go first, goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper. We've had so many of them, haven't we? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think there's so many, like, you know what I mean. Amunia was poor. Fabianski was poor.
All right, let me make it easy for you, right?
Yeah, come back to me.
No. I'm not going to come back to you. What I'm going to say to you, I'm going to make it easier for you. If they went on to have a better career somewhere else, they don't count him. So Fabianski ruled out.
All right. Well, I'll come in then for now. I'm going to start with someone. I've picked him as my worst goalkeeper because when he comes to Arsenal, I really thought that he was going to be something special for us, and he just turned into just going straight down the other way. And that was Richard Wright, and that was mainly just due to a lot to disappointment.
What reputation he came with as well? He came with a big reputation, Richard Wright.
Yeah. I mean, we bought him for $2 million from Ipswich, and all I can remember is the fact that he punched the ball in the net against Charlton, and he made an absolute disaster against Spurs. The only good thing that came out of having Richard Wright was the fact that we sold him to Everton for 3.5 million, so we got a 1.5 million profit. But apart from that, the guy was a disaster, and there was a lot of disappointment in my mind because I really thought he could have gone on to be something special. So Richard Wright for me.
He was out of his depth, weren't he? He was out of his depth. We were linked with quite a few top goalkeepers around at the time, and the expectation after we bought Richard Wright was, like you said, it was pretty high, but it didn't really come to fruition. Can I throw my one in the hat?
Yeah.
This is purely because, I mean, we've gone down the years. There have been many poor goalkeepers. We've had the likes of. I saw Remy Shaban pop up, but Remy Shaban was a keeper that didn't really get much game time. And I picked this goalkeeper because he did get a lot of game time, and he was awful and should never have been our goalkeeper for about 3 or 4 seasons. And that's Manuel Almunia. He had about.
Manuel Almunia just disconnected Kieran's internet.
He had about 4 good games in the whole time he was there, and often cost us quite a few times. So Manuel Almunia goes for him for me.
Igal?
I was gonna go with Emmanuel Mudia also.
Okay. The judge.
Crack up.
Well, I'm going to go back in time. You know what I mean? So for the older generation here, because
Go on. I'll take you on that then.
I'm going for George Wood.
Well, let's go back. Well, yeah.
Remember George Wood?
Yeah.
He could, one of the worst days I ever had was at White Hart Lane when Spurs beat us 5-0 when he was down. You know what I mean? Do you remember that guy? I was there.
I was there.
Oh, tell you what. And for that, he makes Almunia look like Almunia. He makes him look like a Spanish international of 100 caps. You know what I mean? When you think about that, he was absolutely poor goalkeeper. Probably a nice lad, but he had some big boots to fill as well, coming in from Pat Jennings and people after that. And then we got John Lukic coming after that. But for me, George Wood. Yeah, but
don't forget, back in the day, Scottish goalkeepers used to be like a running joke, didn't it, really? And George Wood done everything to say why Scottish goalkeepers, everyone used to say, my one is going to be one that's going to surprise you. And I'm going to go for Wojciech Szczesny. Right?
Yeah.
You broke your own rule. You went on to have a good career.
All right. No, has he had a good career?
Yeah,
yes.
But I did say that, but I'm breaking my own rule because I can, right? I'm going to go with Wojciech Szczesny, right? Because he had everything in him to be a top goalkeeper, right? And he never. You know, the geezer didn't even figure out that you can't smoke in the shower because it turns a fag out. So that's what I'm going for. Let's go left back. Left back should be a pretty easy one. Let's start with the judge. Do you want to come in last and do your final?
Yeah, I'll come in last.
Right, so you pick who, and you're going to pick who we're going to go for in goal. So who are you going to go for? Who are we going to go for in goal in this team?
I think Steve cut have a very good point with Richard Wright. I thought Wright. Yeah, I thought, do you remember we was 1-0 up against Spurs and he threw one in, it was a good one.
When Pires
that was the one. That was the one, Lee. That was the one I always remember.
So who are we going for?
I think we'll go Richard Wright because for what Steve said, I think it's a good point. He was sort of, like high expectations where probably like
Richard
the other guys
Brown,
weren't.
Manuel Munoz.
Well, the reason we're going to make Lee the adjudicator for two reasons. One, obviously, he's called the judge, so it'd be a good way for him to make the final thing. And the other thing is the only Cockney I know, right, who could take the piss out of everyone, call someone a mug and a dickhead and the rest of it, and you still shake his hand and say thank you and walk off. You know, he's got his knack. He's got his knack of being liked by everyone. You know, I just like Tom Jones. They throw their knickers at him, even if you don't wear them.
I wish. I don't get that. I like that. I would love that knickers thrown at me, but certainly don't. Hot dog.
Are we going left back now?
Lee, someone's wearing them with smelly arse. You don't want him thrown at you. I'm saying that. Who's left back? Let's go left back.
Can I start with this one?
Which go?
I would go Santos, the left back.
Santos.
Yes.
Santos.
Santos.
Okay. Yeah.
Andre Santos.
Yeah. Honestly, I just need to say his name, and you know why I said it.
Welcome to Ryan, the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Go and give him a follow on YouTube. Good channel, Greaser as well. So let's go Santos. Steve?
Yeah.
I think most people are going to say Santos. So I think I tried to mix it up a little bit. But it took me back to when I actually was at Ellen Road when this thing came into my head when I hated this player for the rest of my life. It was in 1999, and Arsenal were on its way to winning. We were going for the title, and Winterburn got injured in the last 10 minutes, and Nelson Vivas come on.
I was at that game,
and I never liked the bloke anyway. There was something. It was with a player, you just did something about him. He's come on, and the ball's come across. First Winterburn got kneed in the face by the infamous Alpha Inga Haaland, who Roy Keane sorted out at one point. And basically he came on 10 minutes. It was a good draw at Ellen Road. You thought, 0-0, we'll take that away. He's come on. Left Hasselback in the back of the post, unmarked, 1-0. I've had to come all the way back from Yorkshire, 6-hour journey, and I thought this geezer's going in my worst 11. so for me, Nelson Vivas.
Okay, so we got one for Nelson, one for Santos. What about you guys?
Melvyn?
I think that I agree with Vivas actually. Though he was the right-footed and he played left back, but that game cost us the league that year.
That's right.
Had we won that game, there's only about 3 games to go for the. And I was up there waiting to, think this is it, boys. Here we go again, and came away. I mean, the journey.
What year was that?
I went there.
99.
The journey.
99.
99.
I took my son there. I took Jerome there, funnily enough, and he took a little bit of time off school. We drove up, and on the way back, he was in such a mood like me. I actually took a sleeping bag and we laid him on the back, and he just fell asleep the rest of the journey. But that was, and we had a geezer playing up front, a French geezer who only played a few games. Just missed an open goal from about 2 years. Diawara, was it, or something?
Boris Johnson's come back to life, and he's abused this in the chat. So I hope you get well, Boris Johnson.
Anyway, I agree with you. I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'm going slightly different than you. I'm going to go. It's going to be a contentious one. I'm going to side Kolasinac because within the Bundesliga team of the year, he can't cross the ball, he can't pass the ball, he can't defend. Nelson Vivas has got a groovy name. He could go to a nightclub and say, "Oh, I'm Nelson Vivas," But side Kolasinac, not for me.
Okay. Who's next?
Kieran.
The judge or Kieran?
Kieran said yours. So you changed position. So you've Kieran, you said yours.
What do we miss? Where are we up to?
Left back.
Left back.
We're on right back.
Left back.
Oh, Andre Santos, yeah.
Okay.
Lee.
Yeah, listen, that game against Leeds, we missed chance after chance, and all so many chances that game, and poor Nelson Vivas gets the blame for it, like, you know what I mean? He was, but I have to say, Andre Santos for me, he was overweight, he was poor. I think he scored a great goal against Chelsea. I must admit, he done well there. But other than that, he just wasn't what you expected. And people are saying Kieran Gibbs in there. Gibbs was all right, So I'm afraid it's going to be the Brazilian for me and not the Argentinian.
Okay, so
I said that Andres Santos got some really good goal though when he went past about 5 players and slotted it into the bottom left hand corner.
Yeah, it was a good goal, but
Good goal.
he was there. He was there to defend. He couldn't do that. You know what I mean? So
You know what? When someone goes to, did he come from Fenerbahce or did he go there? I think he either come from there. Or, I think he came from there, didn't he? He came from the Turkish side, didn't he? Because he even looked bad in the Turkish league. That's how bad he was. Let's go right back.
oh, for me this is easy. I'm going Carl Jenkinson all day long. Okay. I'm just showing my age, guys. I'm sorry.
the tough one, right back.
Right back is a tough one. Steve?
Right. I sort of struggled with this one a little bit.
Bad, but
It was between him or Nelson Viva.
Hang on. Steve's saying his one. Go on, Steve. Go
ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with this one a little bit. I did think of Jenkinson, but I thought, he was a trier and he did have a few good games and he was there at Arsenal for a long while. So I sort of put him to one side. But again, I'm going back to sort of the Richard Wright scenario where, again, just a real total disappointment where I thought he was going to be something a little bit special for us. And that's Stefan Lichtsteiner. He done absolutely nothing. He was brought in to sort of give Bellerin, some competition, but he certainly didn't do that. When he did play, I thought he was very, very poor. And if anything, in the end, he was sort of competition to be a backup right back with Maitland-Niles. Again, total disappointment. Someone who I was really excited about to come. Total disappointment. And yeah, it was between Jenkinson, but no, I've gone for Lichtsteiner.
You know what? I think that's a really good call, actually, from you, actually, mate. Because it did come with a big reputation as well. Kieran.
I don't think he can hear us.
Well, the worst person in the bottom left is Kieran. Melvyn.
I would go for Jenkinson. I don't care what position he played. I don't think he's, to be too rude, a footballer. Just couldn't see it. Couldn't see anything about him.
I struggled with this one.
Jenkinson.
I mean, I would have said Carl Jenkinson. We've
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to go Carl Jenkinson as well, but I don't want to because I like the kid.
Do you guys know who my other option was? My other option was Nelson Vivas.
He was on left.
What, for right back?
He was left back. He was left back.
He would play right back at times, no?
Not when he was
playing left back. He played left back.
Not when he was playing left back. He wasn't playing right back when he was playing left back. But he might be because he was that bad. He might have been on the wrong wing. But let's go central defenders. We've got many to choose from. Especially who Arsene Wenger signed. There's many of them. Many to choose from.
Oh yeah.
As the judge, hang on. We need the final judgment.
Sorry. I'm going to go with Steve on this one. I thought Lichtsteiner were absolutely awful from day one. I'll tell you what, I got slagged off when I see him for the first time, and I like a few of my mates taking him off saying, "Oh, he's great, he's this and he's that," and I said, he's finished. Why are we signing players like that? That gave me the hump in the first place, and I just felt that definitely what Steve's saying there. Like he never, for a whole year, he never impressed, and Carl Jenkinson. Always give it his all. Wasn't a great player, but I would say that he had bets in 10 games for Arsenal. I think probably they had 10 games between them last season. I reckon that Jenkinson played better than him last season. So for me, Lichtsteiner, a very good one to pull out as well. That one, Steve. Well done.
That's a good one. Cheers, mate. Come after winning seven Serie A's, and we thought he was going to be solid. It was anything but. Let's go centre backs.
Center backs.
I've got a pairing.
Name your pair.
Can I show you guys? Someone in the comments said mine. I'm just gonna put it up there quickly so I can move on. Those are my two.
Right. Well, I was going to say Squillaci, and the other one I was going to say was Giroud, the centre half who played for us. Young kid. I think he came.
Yeah, Switzerland.
I don't think we bought him. I think he came through the ranks.
Yeah,
He had everything to be a good centre half. He had speed. He was strong. He was tall. And he'd done nothing with it. His positional sense was like out of it. Squillaci, I just don't understand what he brought to the table either. we wanted at that time we were struggling for centre halves, and we wanted a big 6'5" centre half to command. We bought him. It was like no, he wasn't. He couldn't do anything, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my
mine is slightly different. I'm going to actually go Pascal Sagan, right? And I'm going to go the other one. I'm going to go Igor Stefanos. Was it the other one?
Oh, good
Willie Young
shout.
was a good player.
No, Pascal
Willie Young was
Sagan.
a decent player.
Don't you guys think this is unfair, Mavropanos, as a shout?
Don't think
Well, that's a good one, and also Silvestre. Forgot about him.
Yeah, Mavropanos hasn't had a chance yet, has he? Really, be fair to him.
Come on, let's get a bit of life into this. Come on, you're not sleeping. Come on,
guys. Honestly, who's next? Steve?
Yeah, well, my pairing. I try and look deep into things, but I couldn't really do any deep thinking into these two. One was Scalacci. Again, another someone that I thought we bought in £4 million from Seville. I mean, we certainly got juiced. I mean, that's a definite with him. It was just an awful performance, awful. Every time I see him, he was terrible. The other one was someone who was bought. I mean, cover for Adams. That's a laugh. Igor Stefanos. He was brought in as cover for Tony Adams. He scared me. The man scared me. He scared me every time he got the ball. He scared me whenever he was near the ball. He was a likable guy. I didn't want to not like him. I finally lost my patience when he was in the 6-1.
Well, I've lost my patience. I've lost my patience, Steve. I've lost my patience. That's who we're going for. Right, Melvyn. Okay.
I've done mine too.
Melvin's done his.
Let's get this done and through. Come on.
Melvin's done.
Go on.
Yeah, I've got to go. Like this is the longest list of all because we've had some right poor ones of that. But Scalacci and Stefanos have got to be the two for me. Like,
yeah,
got to be the two.
And you know what? Scalacci and Stefanos. If you put them in the Arsenal team now, they won't be any better or worse than what we've got at the moment either.
No, the ones we've got now are all 4-0.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to centre mid. What we're going to do? We're going to do a 4-4-2. Yeah.
Okay.
4-4-2.
Got it. I'm gonna go first again. I feel like this was an easy one for me. I haven't watched as much football as you guys, obviously, so I'm just gonna go recent, and I'm gonna go El Neni and Frimpong as my midfield pairing. Okay. Steve.
Me. We're doing a 4-3-3. Do you want me to name the three?
4-4-2.
4-4-2. You're like the Arsenal players. You can't follow the instruction.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to struggle a bit now. I've gone for someone who I thought was worse than Xhaka, and that was again Denilson.
Okay.
He was the only Brazilian who didn't know how to pass forward. He was just sideways, backwards. He was there's a Xhaka, but I put him in as my midfield because he was Brazilian, and anyway, he's in as my midfield. Also, I've got Ziggy Johnson in my midfield.
He never played for us.
I thought he was absolutely awful. All this guy ever done was fall over. I mean, it got to a point where everybody was people were saying everyone's doing the Ziggy when he fell over. And this one I don't want to put in, but I'm going to have to. But the reason because this geezer got bought to replace David Rocastle, which is bad enough. And I'm sorry, John, really am. But it's John Jensen.
I know you're going to say that.
I've honestly that well. Right, John Jensen is one of mine. And the other one I go for was Steve Morrow in midfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steve Morrow, I'll go for Steve Morrow. I'll go for pointless footballer. Yeah. Pointless.
Okay.
Melvyn.
I was going for Denilson and Jensen.
I thought Denilson was a tidy footballer.
I thought Denilson was nice.
Nothing. Had no pace about him.
Yeah. The judge.
I think it's just a very hard one on this one. Like Imamutu has been brought up, and I think that's got to be definitely one. Like, what did he do?
I don't know how to spell that.
Sold a lot of shirts.
I thought Denilson done okay. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to again have to agree with the boys on this one with John Jensen because he'd come with a bit of a reputation and I thought he was very, very disappointing. I have to say that, like, you know, and certainly wasn't one of my favourite players, you know. And the other one that I think has to be put in the mix is last season's Denis Suarez. I think, come on, you know what I mean? That was not his fault, I know, but you know, someone's put David Ilya in the thing.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh. That's harsh.
No.
He won the league. He won the league. You can't. You can't.
Not only
anybody that's won the league can't be like.
No, it's not just anyone who's won the league. Not only did he win the league, every time David Ilya was a very good footballer. But what happened was every time he was getting a run of games, he was getting injured.
Okay, how about this guy? What about we've had a lot of names now, right? One name that we've all agreed on is John Jensen, but who's the second name? Because we're only going for a midfield too.
Well, no, that's what Lee's going to say at the end.
Lee's going to do it.
Okay,
well,
so
I'll tell you what. Like, I'm going to go Imamatu as the other one, whatever his name is, the Japan for. He done nothing. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So
he was only bought because of, like, for the Asian thing. I think that's the only reason why we bought him.
And for that reason, you know what I mean? Like, Kim Krausum's a good shout, but he did score a penalty. I remember in a.
All right, okay. Where did Wenger find Inamoto?
Where?
Where did he come from?
Over in Japan somewhere, wasn't
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. Well, no, sorry. See, none of you lot know this, and I thought you'd know, Lee. Wenger took his car into Toyota for a service. Basically, he was working a customer service scanner.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Let's go right midfield.
With that, what do you mean, wing back?
No, right midfield. 4-4-2.
There's only one, isn't there?
Campbell?
Right midfield, Sol Campbell's defender.
No, Campbell, Joe
it was
Campbell.
Joe Campbell.
Joe Campbell's
Lee,
Joe Campbell's quality.
Right.
Joe Campbell.
Joe Campbell, no. He was the left, wasn't he? Didn't he play on the left, Joe Campbell?
Played both,
Was he
didn't he?
on
Joe Campbell's quality.
What about that guy called Binio or whatever? What's his name?
No, he was all right.
He was
I
decent?
thought, well,
Okay,
was
you
all
guys, I'm going to have to defer it to you guys right now.
Well, I'm going Mike Nace for me. Even though he had that one good season with Kevin Cash.
Players worse than him, surely.
Even though he had that one good season where he scored a load of goals, I'm still going Mike Nace.
That's a good shout. He weren't that great, was he?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Lee, rip it up. Lusney might actually be a good shout for the right back, you know.
Yeah, he was poor.
Arsene Wenger chased this geezer for years from Dynamo Kiev. He tore us up in the Champions League one season.
Good shout.
Just want to shout out was that Paris Spin, is it? Paris buying 1 games. Big up yourself. That's going to be Lee's decision at the end. So we're still going right midfielder.
I'd say my right midfielder is someone again who I can't. He disappointed because I see him in his first game and I thought this geezer was going to be a superstar, and then he just went backwards, and that was Jermaine Pennant. He scored an hat-trick on his debut, and then he just got worse and worse and worse, and then he was out drinking, getting drugs, and then I think after his 3rd game for Arsenal, he decided to tell everybody that he didn't want to sign for Arsenal, and I can remember that to this day. He had so much promise, and so for me, it's he ended up playing for 20 clubs. Do
you know where you're not missing the trick though? You're not missing the trick because you're trying to find all these players who didn't actually make it in the team, and then you got reserves and this, that, and the other. But we want players in the first team who actually did play, and people. Right,
I think this geezer did play quite a few games, and he came from a decent club, and I think he was unbelievable how poor he was at the finish. McGoldrick.
Oh,
yeah, I've got him.
Did
down.
you? Oh my God,
Eddie McGoldrick. Yeah.
Do you remember the story with him and Jimmy Carter? Do you remember the story there?
Yeah.
They signed Jimmy Carter. I don't know if you know these boys. You probably do. Sold Jimmy Carter, and he started off all right. Then we found out he weren't all that. Then we signed McGoldrick a few months later, and they again started off a couple of games. Yeah, he could be all right. Again, not a clue. And then the crowd started singing. There's only 2 Jimmy Carters. because they're both like each other. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what have we got here?
Yeah.
Do you know with Jimmy Carter?
This is my show.
He's a decent player at our level. You know what I mean? But he certainly weren't at.
Mate, Jimmy Carter at Millwall was a good player. Jimmy Carter at Millwall was a good player.
He's a good player. I've told him a few times, but McGoldrick, I'm going to definitely. What about Jovino? Come on, he was poor, wasn't he?
This is my guy.
Oh, yeah.
Are you mean Alexandra Pepe Mark 1?
Say it again.
Pepe Mark 1.
I hear a bit of it harsh, yeah, like, you know what I mean? I'll tell you something.
Go ahead.
Nicholas Pepe, shall I say? Alexander Pepe.
Mkhitaryan has been pulled up in there, you know what I mean? He ain't a bad player, Mkhitaryan. He's never a great player, but never the worst to play for Arsenal.
Mkhitaryan in his first game did more than this guy ever did in his whole Arsenal career. The one that Pablo has up on the screen. How do you guys say his name again? Mayachi,
yeah.
He's only a kid when he joined.
Listen, I'm going to ban him because look, these players are not established players. We want the established ones.
They've had a few games, yeah. So
for me, Campbell should be a good shout for somebody who just couldn't do it.
Joe Campbell's quality. Quality player. But Lee, who's your right midfielder?
McGoldrick, I think I'm going to go for him.
We'll have him.
Okay, let's go left midfield.
I've got Jimmy Carter. My season ticket was East Upper, so I used to see this geezer go down. I remember looking down in every single game, and he just used to be running into people. Again, I go back to having so much promise. And he had a few games for Arsenal, so I don't want to really, think he had 29 games.
Right, so you're going Carter right midfield. The kid, who are you going?
What's that guy's name? Biskov.
No, he's not a first team player, the kids.
Never played properly.
Never played. Put some players in that people know.
I'm struggling, guys.
Well, you don't know any players. The players that you do know, who's the worst?
The players that I do know, who's the worst that played on that hand side? Fuck, I'm struggling.
That's a tough one, Rib, for someone like Ego who's been brought up on Perez, players like that.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that I'm thinking of are guys who played in a front three.
Let me make it easy for you. It's going to be Alex Iwobi. For me.
Nah, not for me.
I got one. My one on the left. Glenn Helder.
That's a good one.
Very disappointing.
No, he's my mate. You can't do it.
Lee, I think he's frozen.
Very disappointing footballer. First game he was brilliant. Again, downhill.
Lee, who go for left midfield, Lee?
Well, this is an hard one, really, because someone's putting a Iwobi. Come on,
I've gone Iwobi.
You've gone Iwobi as well,
I've gone Iwobi.
So, I think it's a difficult one. I'm gonna go with Steve with Jimmy Carter. I think he was another one that I'll tell you. Someone put in the chat. Someone just a minute ago. I've lost it now. Was a good one. Come with a bit of expectation. I've lost it now. You know what I mean? So
it won't be like my DIY skills, mate. I start I'll never finish it.
Yeah, I can't think anybody through that. You know what I mean? Than that. I think
didn't Park play on the left?
Yeah.
Park would count, or would you take him as a striker?
People are saying
we didn't have that many bad players on the left.
I think we've always been pretty strong on there, haven't we? Been always pretty strong on there. Someone put in the chat earlier on there, I couldn't believe, put in Brian Marwood. You know what I mean? Was that for 89? So like someone that probably didn't do it. It's a real difficult one there. Martin Hayes. I don't know how you could have put Martin Hayes, by the way, Sonny. You know what I mean? He had a wonder year. You can't. How can you have a wonder year and then be like the worst player ever?
Because I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you my thinking behind that. If Aaron Ramsey could be considered legend by having one good year in 10, I'd go Martin Hayes by having one good season as well. So, Ramsey's legend status just having one good year in 10.
He did score in a couple of league titles, and I've told you this before. For people like me, those league titles is those league titles. I didn't witness too many league titles. I
Cup
witnessed
is
a lot of
all
FA Cups. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but that's my opinion. So that's your opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Glenn
I'm
Elder's a
saying-
good shirt. That was the one, Glenn Elder, because he
Okay.
come with a good reputation, didn't he? And he just never really done it there. So probably
we're
like
going
one of the worst players that I've seen probably on the left hand side would be someone like Glenn Elder was a disappointment.
Yep.
Lovely name,
Yep.
but
All right, let's go forwards. And you know what? Chris Kiwomya is a good one. What is he? Is he right winger, wasn't he? Was he right winger or left winger? Chris Kiwomya. Ian Selly was another player, boring, did nothing. John Devine didn't do nothing. Davil Shuker come with a reputation, a big reputation. Croatian forward was a legend.
Yeah.
Scored a couple of good goals, but didn't do nothing. Right, forwards now. I remember a Brazilian that we had. We got this Brazilian. He looked like a pig, right? That geezer looked like a pig. I can't remember his name. Do you remember him? Arsene Wenger signed him.
Was it Beppe?
No, Arsene Wenger signed him. He actually looked like a pig, the geezer, but he didn't do nothing. Can't remember his name. We'll have him out. We'll find him out. I'll look for some pig pictures. I'll try and find him. Right. Anyway, for me, it's going to be Nicholas Bentner is one. And
Lord Nicholas Benton.
yeah, Nicholas Benton is definitely one. Only he thought it was good. Nobody else did.
He's a legend.
And the other one is going to be the other Chinese one we bought.
Yeah. Park Chung Yang.
Korean one. Him. Yeah.
Park Chung
but you say he hasn't hardly played. You're changing the goalposts again.
Okay. What about Francis Jeffries?
Again, it's my turn. Let me pick my one. Wait, God. All right, but Senegal said I'll go for Francis Jeffers. Yeah. I'll go Francis Jeffers. Francis Jeffers and Nicholas Bentner. Right, Gal, your turn.
I was gonna go Francis Jeffries, and I was gonna go Park Young.
Francis Jeffries played for Crystal Palace. Francis Jeffries played for Arsenal.
Okay, and then what about Yaya Sanogo? He's a good shout too.
I quite liked
Didn't
him.
play enough games. Didn't play enough games. What?
He didn't play enough games.
Nah.
Okay, so we can't count him.
There's a lot worse than Sonogo.
Yeah.
Listen,
Get back to me.
Not everyone can score 4 goals in the
Shamak.
Oh, that's the one I put down.
Shamak. There we go. I finally got one, guys. Okay, so mine is Shamak and Jeffries. My front two.
Shall I tell you I'm going back in time. Sorry, Steve, I'm going back in time for my two. John Hawley.
Oh, yeah.
John Hawley.
And you're saying Jeffers and people like that. And the other one for me was a big disappointment. Come with a big.
Charlie Nicholas.
No, wait, leave it out. Don't you insult. And it was a big reputation. It was a player called Lee Chapman who went on to do really well at other clubs. It was a massive disappointment for us. So I just thrown him in the mix for you, but I'm interested to see what we've got going to have on this one.
Oh, this is a good one in the comments. Christopher Way.
No, I'm
not having that.
Christopher Way, whose cousin was he? He was also George Weah's cousin, wasn't he?
Yeah, scored some important goals in that 98 season. No.
Wasn't it? If he won away 1-0.
We would have won the title.
He scored 1 goal. I think up north we played a team. Was it Bradford or something like that? He scored the only goal of the game. We were 1-0.
Scored in the semi-final against Wolves.
I mean,
that's right. When Vieira put him through.
He also scored against. Did he score against United one as well?
Yeah. In that last 5 or 6 games towards the end of the season, of the title season, he was on fire. That bloke. If he wouldn't have been about, I forget who got injured, but if he came in and he did a fantastic job.
Oh man!
Right, Josh.
I lost reception there for a second. Who did Steve say?
Go on, Melf. Who are you going?
I'm going for Shamak, like Steve went for, and the other one, just to be level with Lee, same time he had the centre forward, Ray Hankin.
Oh yeah, Ray Hankin. Yes.
I thought, he was different class, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't have Shamak. I didn't have Shamak
look like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Melvyn, I didn't have Shamak. I had Francis Jeffers. He got big club syndrome. and he's just injured all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember Francis Jeffers. Every time he come on the sub, he had Gary Lewin standing next to him, and I don't know if he was frightened he was going to fall over and get injured again. I had no idea, but certainly Francis Jeffers. And the other one that I had written down, I had looked at a few stats, and that was Paul Mariner. I don't know. Apart from headering the ball, I can't remember him doing much. So I went for. I was going to go for Shamak, but I mixed it up a bit and went for Paul Mariner.
I think Mariner we got near the end of his career, actually.
Yeah,
Melvyn and Woodcock were all right together.
Yeah, they was all right together, and
I think so.
Charlie Nicholas just behind. It was a good little thing. But I
Yeah,
know what
right.
Steve's saying. He come, was a good player in his time, but I think it was past his sell-by date when he came to the Arsenal.
This is one we missed. This is one we missed. Lucas Perez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could have put him on the left.
16 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having him in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one.
Yeah, good one. Very good one.
So
Yeah, well done.
the final judgment, Lee. What were your final two?
I'm going to have to go John Hawley. He was the worst player I've ever seen. Like, you know what I mean? I've got to say that. You're ringing these ones off here, and I'm going to go Perez as the other one because what sort of Steve has stated. You know what I mean? Comes with a big reputation, and was poor. Lee Chapman was poor, by the way, but he did go on and win a title with Leeds. So
how can someone say Carlos Vela was a bad player? Carlos Vela was quality.
Carlos Vela, yeah.
He was quality.
He didn't mind the old chip, did he? Didn't mind the old chip.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you've turned around and said Martin Hayes. What's the date of Martin Hayes you've done that? I can't believe that, Sonny. I really can't.
Do you know what? I just got this feeling against Martin Hayes because Kevin Campbell's mate, so I just thought I'd get on Kevin Campbell's.
I tell you what, boys, I can't remember, but in the chat earlier, someone put Stuart Robson. I can't remember about how he was for Arsenal. I can't remember.
Good plan.
He was decent for us.
Who are we going up front?
He was the youngest ever Arsenal player to score a goal, right?
So who are we going up front, Lee?
I'm going to go John Hawley because I'm just going to throw it out there and Perez.
Right. Okay. And just one player. I'm going to throw into the mix just because he's a prick. Is Emmanuel Adebayor. He has to go out there. Just we play a front three. Right. Right. That's Arsenal's worst 11, and we did have a few, but I'm going to overrule everyone because it's my show, right? So I'm even going to overrule the judge because it's went to the European Court of Appeal, right? And I'm presiding at that one. As far as I'm concerned, our worst 11 is the worst 11 we've got now because they're fucking wankers, all of them, right?
Well, it's the worst team for a very, very long while.
Yeah.
Very long while.
The reason I'm going with worst 11 is, you know what? Attitude is wrong. Everything's wrong. Everything about them is wrong. So that's where we're going to go into this section now, Lee. What is wrong at Arsenal? Right? Because with this coronavirus, what's going on, right? Melvyn had a very good question. What was the question you had, Melvyn, regarding money in football?
Yeah, with the situation, and there's going to be less money around, obviously, isn't there, in the summer? Would it do Arsenal a favour or a disservice in the transfer market, Lee?
What the current situation?
Yeah, less money around for people to buy and sell players.
Yeah.
That's a good call, really. Like, what it does so is that a lot of clubs. Look, listen, I was saying this the other day. There's this big thing about the Holy Grail. It's all about the Champions League. It's all about getting this. This is all about the money of the Champions League. And the two teams that got to the Champions League final were the two first teams to put in for furlong. That just shows you, that if that's the case, then money ain't everything. Like, I think that Arsenal, whether you like it or not, are a run club that rely on other things, not just the team. I honestly think if the TV money went out, which is what basically has happened, if you look at it now with this coronavirus, look what's happening. Teams are going to be in a lot of trouble because they're relying on this money too much. Arsenal are not. So it could benefit us there. Like, I think Arsenal got to be very, very shrewd in the transfer market, he said, because they've got to get improved. They've got to improve the whole spine of the team somewhere along the line. And if that means losing an Aubameyang, losing a Lacazette to fund that, that's so be it. And I'm a big thing for that now. I think that for me, I would go to Atletico Madrid and say to them, look, we'll do a swap deal with Lacazette for Partey. So we've got someone big and strong in midfield that we've not had for a very, very long while. Yeah. I would do everything we can. I think that we're in a situation very, very similar to 83 when Charlie Nicholas signed for Arsenal. I know he wasn't the greatest sign in the world, but what he'd done was he reminded everybody in the world and the country that Arsenal were a big club. All the top teams were chasing him, and Arsenal went and got him, and it was a big statement. And I think Arsenal need to make that statement this season. And for me, that would be to go and get Jack Grealish. All of a sudden, then you've got Partey and Jack Grealish in midfield. It looks very, very strong. We need to bring in another big central defender. I think bringing somebody like Ryan Fraser would for nothing would be a better for us than putting a Aubameyang out on the wing and putting Lacazette in there so we can do some business there and just move a few people around. And I'm going to say it now: if Aubameyang doesn't want to sign his new contracts, then you get as much money we can for him and look somewhere else as well. Because if we don't sell him this season, he'll go for nothing next season. So you're going to have to replace him somewhere along the line. So it might as well be this season with money than next season without no money. And that's how I see it. And I think that the ball's got to be ruthless come this time in the summer. But with the money situation, I don't think it really will affect Arsenal that much.
Well, one thing was for sure, we can't have a Sanchez situation again. Right?
No.
So I say thanks to Michael. Michael, I'm glad you're an old school gooner because this channel is about old school gooners as well, right? I'm going to put my Twitter handle up there, and if you want to come on the show and come on the podcast with us, you're welcome to. And that goes for anyone. Anyone who wants to come on, just follow me on Twitter and just send me a message. But word has it, I've got a friend of mine who works for Islington Council, right? We're talking about Tottenham, basically not paying their staff and still putting their players on full wages, and then Liverpool done it. Got the backlash from me, and they changed their mind, and now they're paying everybody. I've heard that Raul and Vinay and Edu have just put a letter into Islington Council. Arsenal want the grant, but it's for our transfers. Just your thoughts on that. So basically, Arsenal because Arsenal's skint. I think that joke went all over your heads. Arsenal skint and Arsenal want the grant for their transfers because we ain't got no money, have we? So I can't see what's going to change.
Well, that's why I think I don't think it do us any favours because knowing our ball, they can use that excuse we've got no money. And then the only money we can spend, they can say, is what we can sell players for. We ain't going to get what we thought 2 months ago for certain players that we're probably getting a month or two's time. So I think it's going to do us a disservice, this money situation.
I think you guys are looking at it too much internally. You have to also look at it externally. When it comes to the world of football in general, this could change. This could change the whole pendulum of how the prices are set. This could change the whole market value because if there's no big market sales, people are going to have to lower their prices for their players to even sell them because there's still going to be clubs that need to make sales to survive. So if you need to sell your player for 30 million and the market has now changed and you can't sell that player for 30 million, in order to survive, you might sell that player for 20 million, which lowers everybody's pricing. Because if Neymar moves,
really good point.
Because if Neymar moves in the summer, I'm telling you, there's no way Barcelona is getting him for the money that they're planning on getting him for after telling their player staff to take an 80% wage cut. There's no way that's happening. So if a big domino moves in the summer, like what's it called? Felipe Coutinho is being shouted to be moving to Chelsea for 80 million. That's 60 million less than his price from 2 years ago. That is going to reset the whole market lower, and it's going to help Arsenal from an external way. Not only looking at us, how much we're willing to spend, but how much our players that we're going to be wanting to buy, they might be cheaper.
I couldn't disagree more. To be honest with you. This is Arsenal. Arsenal use that because basically Arsenal can't sell their players anyway because they're so crap. We can't sell them. We always get a crap fee for them. And the clubs with the money, they've always got money. I think United still have money to spend. Chelsea haven't spent for years. They still have money to spend. Man City won't want to come second to Liverpool. And I think Liverpool could strengthen. So I still think the teams at the top will still spend. So
I think the problem with Arsenal is that we haven't got no assets. We haven't got no assets. And for two, I don't see at the moment why is anybody going to come for Arsenal Football Club at this moment in time. Before I was well against selling people like Aubameyang and Lacazette, but now I've sort of changed my mind because I don't see any other way. I think we've got to go backwards to go forwards again. So I've changed my mind completely from over the last few weeks. I do believe that we've got sell people like Bellerin, Aubameyang, Lacazette, probably get in a lesser player and bring through the players like Martinelli, Xhaka. Pepe's obviously still young enough. Hopefully, Reece Nelson can come through. And that's the way the only way I can see Arsenal, going forward in the future. I don't believe we're going to get any money from the Cronkies. And like Melvyn said, I personally think this is going to go. I don't think it's going to help us either way, because we've never really spent in the transfer market either way. So I don't think it's going to affect us. But the biggest problem for Arsenal is the fact that we haven't got the assets. Everybody talks about Liverpool, and they keep saying about, we've got to go the Liverpool way. We've got to go the Liverpool way. But Liverpool had assets. We've got no one. We'd have to spend 5 or 6 players before we can get the same price as what Liverpool got for Coutinho. We've got to go backwards to go forwards.
Listen, Coutinho was never, though they paid it, £140 million player. Everything slotted in for Liverpool when it happened. And as far as we got no assets, we have got assets. Got Aubameyang and Lacazette, and perhaps Bellerin, right? So I think we have got assets.
Well, I mean, like 150. I mean, like 150 million pound.
Steve, let me finish his point. Go on.
The point is, right, that we have got assets, and the frustrating thing about this club, it's been for a few years now, but even so now, every year we go, oh, this is the year we've got to do something in the transfer market. But now it's all set up. We are in a mess as a club, really, with our playing staff. We've got a lot of rubbish. We know that.
Right.
This is now a situation where how bad we are. We are in a bad mess. Only need a little bit doing. 3 or 4, say 4 players, and we've got a decent team with clever buying. We're so close to being okay and more than okay, and pride in our club, and they could mess it all up. We have got some decent players in the background, Sonny.
Melvyn, Tottenham have got a decent team. They haven't got a decent squad. We haven't got a decent team or a decent squad, right? So what I want you guys to do now, right? Bear in mind, let's look at our assets. You've got the El Nenis, you've got Mkhitaryan's, obviously they're a given. Let's raise some money. Let's raise see what's in Arsenal's pot.
There are other assets. To say we haven't got assets is
no. What I want you guys to do, I want you to tell me the value of the players we got to sell.
All right, cool.
That's included because as far as I'm concerned, if you take out Aubameyang, Lacazette tomorrow, and you put in Martinelli and someone else, I don't think we're going to be any weaker. Because I think if we get a proper left winger, we get a proper midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder, I think we'll score more goals than to rely on Aubameyang. I think. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we should be relying on Martinelli, or like he's played a handful of games from us, and putting all that pressure on such a young kid is ludicrous. And even if you think he's ready now, his body's not ready. He's still growing, and you're just going to run him into the ground like many clubs have their other young players. We need someone in who can be competition, who can be another, not necessarily Martinelli, but another player who we find in the depths of wherever that doesn't cost a lot of money. We used to be smart, we used to be astute at that, but then we just scrapped that and it went down the pan. But we can get that back. To say we haven't got assets, we've got assets, man. Like players like Mustafi, Torreira that you could probably sell on, Papa.
Listen, don't throw names at me, right? What you should do, give them a value. Lee, add up the value of these players. All of yours.
I agree with what Kieran's saying there. I think that at the end of the day, we need to, like Xhaka and Torreira, we need to sell them to.
How much?
Get the assets for. You get 20 million for each, £40 million, then go out and get a £40 million player. That's what you need to do.
So we're doing an Arsenal usually, right? We're selling 2 players to buy 1 decent one, right?
Not necessarily. Like my this is how, if I was in charge of Arsenal, this is what I'd do. I'd go to Real Madrid and I'd say, right, we'll have Partey, you have Lacazette, right? So that's a straight swap. Then I'd say, right, we go and get someone like Fraser for nothing. Maybe even Willian for nothing at Chelsea. So you've got two players there. So that counterbalances that. And also then you've got the player that we need more than we need Lacazette, which is a holding big strong midfield player. Then we need to go and sign. Then we don't need Xhaka and Torreira. So if we can get 20-25 million for Torreira, then so be it. And then you do that like with a central defender, go and buy Upamecano, someone like that, and then you sell. You go and sell. You sell Chambers, you sell Holding, and you make up the money there. Someone said in the chat that Bellerin's not an asset. Yes, he is, because we've got him for nothing. He's come through the ranks. You know what I mean? You're going to get 20. You're going to get 20 million for him.
When I said asset, what I meant when I said assets was when I meant I should explain myself a bit clearer. When the big assets, like Tottenham have got a Kane, Man United have got a Pogba.
Yeah, we ain't got a marquee one.
We haven't got that type of big asset, have we? We've got to get rid of 4 or 5 people. Yeah, before we. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
All right, but still, we still need to get rid of them 4 or 5 because 4 of them 5 people are not good enough for this club, and their wages are too much if you add it all up together.
Absolutely,
So we may not have the one big asset, which is the Kane, which is the Pogba, but we've got enough. We've still got 50 million.
Kieran, your sound is terrible, mate. I think that background sound is from you.
Is it?
Yeah. That blowing's from you.
No, we've probably got about 10 people we can sell. We've probably got. There's probably 10 people.
It's not him. I'm just not kicking people out there. I want to see who it is.
It's definitely Steve.
It's Steve. Sorry for kicking you out, Kieran. It wasn't you.
No, but someone just said I've got, saying, we'll get relegated if we buy people like Fraser and Willian. We're not buying them. We're getting them for nothing. You know what I mean? What you're trying to do is trying to mix it up. If you go and get a top class midfielder and a top class central, say if Arsenal go and buy Upamecano and Partey, right? Yeah. And have just say them two, and we go and buy Willian, and we go and then buy we get Willian and Fraser for nothing. Then we're not going to get relegated, are we? Because we've improved in the areas we need to improve in, and I think people are missing the point. We've got to improve on those areas where we're weak, and that is central midfield, and at the back. And then we can, at the minute we've got Lacazette that we're playing off the bench, because we can't fit into the system where we could put, like, all of a sudden you can put Willian and you can put your free transfers, Willian and Fraser on that bench, instead of having a big asset like Lacazette doing nothing. And that's my point. We need to improve in areas that are on, and that is central midfield and central defence. Other areas, like we're not that bad on the wide areas, honestly, boys. We're not that bad.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a hypothetical, right? So Torreira, 35 million. Then you got Mustafi for 20. Then you got Lacazette and Aubameyang. Say they both raise around 80 to 90. Then you have Socrates, who's between 15 to 20, and then altogether that will come up to like around 175 million, right? Those 5 players that I sold. We take that money. We go get a center half like Upamecano, who's going to cost around 70. We go get a midfielder like Partey, who's going to cost between 55. We get a young up and coming midfielder like the one at Lyon. What's his name? The Moroccan guy, I think, or he plays for France, but he's you guys know who I'm talking about. Hassan, I think. And then we can go get a center. Then we can go get a striker from a team like Celtic, or we could even go to other teams like Real Madrid and go get Luka Jovic. And altogether, we would be probably adding an additional 25 million to the money that we raised up, which would be between 200 to 70 or 175 million from those 5 player sales. So that to me is realistic. But the club, I don't think they're able to generate any money from sales because these players don't have a demand. They don't have a market. They don't actually people don't generally want them. So maybe a swap deal for 3 players could work. Like swap deal for Jokic, swap deal for Partey, and swap deal for for Kessia at Atletico at AC Milan for Torreira.
I just want to read out a super chat. Vegas Guna, very good friend of mine. Great show, Sonny. We must also move Mustafi and Socrates on for what we can. Their contracts are up in 2021. Just a quick point before I come to Melvyn, right? Yeah, basically, the players that you're bringing in, you're bringing in a Fraser, for instance, for nothing, yeah, which everyone wanted last season. Let's face it, it was shit like last year, right? Was it a one season wonder? Who knows? And you're bringing in Willian on the left, right? We've got Martinelli and Saka on the left. I don't think we need anyone. We don't need Willian on big wages. Fraser, I'd go in, and basically, would Lee or Melvyn would playing Nicolas Pepe up front with a Martinelli or one up top be an option?
No, I don't think Pepe could play up front by himself. I think he could play just behind a striker or two. Just because he can beat the first man easy, and he's banging on us in the penalty area. I think he'd be great. But against a big centre half, they'd be kicking him everywhere. I don't think he'd be able to do it. No, I'd like to see him play a bit deeper in the middle. But going back to what you're saying about selling players, you've got to thank Gazidis for all this, because it's not because of their ability. Because I know some of them, they haven't got the ability to get the high bucks. It's the wages they're on, and that puts off a lot of clubs as well. So Gazidis, a double thank you.
Does Raul have the ability to turn this all around in one window? Because Lee, let's face it, the January window, they just pull the blinds down. You know,
Arsenal only play with one window. You know what I mean? And that is this one coming up. You know,
can they do it in one window?
Well, they're going to have to. You know, people keep saying to me, "Oh, it's not money pinch and things like that." The fact of the matter, we're talking hypothetical because we think that's what they're going to do. You know, and you know, I'm just saying, if I was in charge, you know, there's ways around this. You know, like all right, people say, "Oh, there ain't a great striker out there." There's two strikers that you could go for. If you're going to swap, if Aubameyang's not going to sign, and that is, you know, you look to Real Madrid and you're going to get Jokovic, who was fantastic when he was playing in Germany, ain't worked out in Spain. So people quickly turn around and go, "Oh, it's not working in Spain. Let's not have him." Well, Thierry Henry wasn't working in Italy, but we're certainly something happening there. 50 million,
Jovic went 52 million. He went to Real Madrid, right? What would Arsenal get?
30.
Well, you could get, like, you know, Aubameyang. If Aubameyang's going to go to Real Madrid, you say, well, we want him. Otherwise, we don't have that deal. You've got to be ruthless.
We can get a Premiership-proven striker in Jimenez for 40. Jimenez, I really like him. 40 million, you get him. You get him from Wolves.
Great thing can go there.
No,
I would take Jota.
Wait. I think, in one sense, we're very optimistic about what we can sell. Because we have, like I said earlier, we have got assets, and okay, the chance of getting more off the books is very small, but we should be able to get raising quite a bit of money. But I think some of the signings that we're foreseeing our club signing, we're living in a dream world. Like, I know Upamecano's out there. I know Thomas Partey's out there, but they're also going for dirt cheap in the summer with like a year left on their contract, or going for a minimum release clause of 45 million when they're a £100 million player. Like these, I think we need to lower our expectations with these big names. That they're names. Yeah. We're talking about the top players, up and coming players in Europe at the moment. We're not signing them. So we are not going. Do not be disappointed when you don't see Upamecano and Thomas Partey coming through. You're going to see a player you never heard of and a player you're disappointed, underwhelmed at getting. They're going to be the signings, and we've got to graft our way up for a season or two. And then once we start moving up, then we can maybe push for them other players, because we're looking like we're going in a trajectory rather than decline. Because, like as been said earlier, you will be looking at this team 3 years out of the Champions League thinking, are they going to get back in it, or are they past it now? Like Upamecano coming to our team is like, okay, 2 years ago when we just dropped out of Champions League, when we got Aubameyang, but now it's looking like it's not necessarily going to happen. A Jovetic might be able to happen because he's not doing it at Real Madrid, and he's come from a club that previously weren't really in and about in the Champions League or Europe at all. So that's a signing who we might be able to get over the line. But the Upamecano and Thomas Partey, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man.
I just want to shout out. I just want to shout out Ramon. Ramon saying, you know what, Steve, you're gonna have to come back to chat, mate. It's yours. I've got this buzzing in my ear. It's you.
Just mute him for now.
No, it's not him. It wasn't him. Might be Kieran. Is it Kieran? Let me have a look. It's not
Got
him.
someone underwater.
Yeah, we're going to chuck him one out. Let's see the next thing. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Gary, you come out a minute.
It's not me. I muted myself, and it's not me.
Well, it's not the mute. It's an interference. It can't just come. All right, Melvyn, go out a sec. Go out a sec.
All right.
That's it. It was Melvyn. Because we couldn't carry it on like that. Basically, I just want to give a shout out to Ramon Sen. You know what? It's comments like this what makes doing this channel worthwhile. You know. So I just want to read it out. Sonny, thanks to you and your panel for the great content you guys are providing throughout this period of uncertainty. You guys are key workers. In my view, wash your hands. Ramon Sen, big up yourself, my bro. And if you ever want to come on, the channel, just contact me on Twitter and come on. It'd be good to have you. You know what? Arsenal, the work Arsenal needs to do, and you know, it all reminds me of the interference that we're having in the sand tonight. It's just a bloody. It's honestly, it's a big noise. A lot of uncertainty. See who's doing the noise, and it's. You know, I just can't see Arsenal fixing all this in one go. I just can't see it. And,
no, I agree.
So, you know, when our season ticket renewal is going to come up next year, and we know, we're going to go to. It's like now you go to Sainsbury's, you're left with the shit that you wouldn't normally buy. Is that going to be Arsenal? Is that who we are now? You know, we're coming out of the coronavirus. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world. You know, what are we actually doing?
I disagree with you there a little bit. Look, come on, like Pepe was a sought after player last season. I know, like he hasn't probably worked out as well as what he done, but a lot of clubs were going for him last year, and we got him. So there must be something that the Arsenal can attract. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've always said that Arsenal are a big club. You know, don't get away from that fact. And players will want to come there because they think to themselves, do you know what? They're not doing as well as what they can do. Sometimes it's best to go to a club like that than go to a club that's winning games all the time when you think to yourself like, well, I might not quite get in there. I might not get the games. I'm definitely going to get the games at Arsenal. And it's a massive, massive club. I agree with what Kieran's saying to a certain extent as well, because there are, you know, like maybe the Afrikaners are going to have bigger and better deals. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that a club like Arsenal should be in for them. And if we don't get them, fair enough. And that's what I'll go back to 1983 with that Charlie Nicholas thing. Why was he going to go to Arsenal? Arsenal were a poor side at the time. Like, you know, Liverpool were winning in Europe, Man United, the biggest club in the world. But he chose Arsenal because it was Arsenal. There's something about the club. And whether you like it or whether you don't, that is what is true. And I believe that, you know what I mean? And when I go, because I do think there is something special about the Arsenal. And that's how I feel.
Do we still have that pulling power?
We definitely do, because if you look at last summer, what we did was we basically planned for the future. We grabbed a kid from France that everybody's after. Real Madrid's after him, Barcelona's after him, everybody's after him. What did we do? We took him. We said, we're going to take him. We'll give you back. We can give you back Saliba for a year for loan, and we're building for the future. Kieran Tierney, Napoli wanted him. We took him. We said, we're going to, even though he's injured, we're going to take him now because we know he's cheap and we're going to hold on to him. He's a left back for the future. What else did we do? We took Pepe. There almost 7 clubs were after him. Liverpool were after him. Man United were after him. Everybody was after him. That shows that we still have the pulling power. And Sonny, today there's been a lot of people saying optimistic things, pessimistic things, but the reality is Arsenal, if we want to, we can still get anybody we want as long as they're for the right price.
Let me throw something at you then, right? With Arsenal looking to raise money, I would actually take Ryan Fraser on a free now, and sell Pepe.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
No.
Why?
That's ridiculous. Let me
Why?
explain to you why that's ridiculous. Because you are not going to get your return in value in one summer because everything has changed in the world. The value of a player has decreased so much.
Well, forget about that. Forget about that. We don't know what the market's going to be because we're not in it. We're not in it yet.
If you sold Messi, it would be cheaper.
Right, forget about that now. You don't know that. You don't know that. I'm just talking about what the player brings on a football pitch at the moment. Forget about values and how we don't know that. None of us know. You don't know how much your house is going to be worth in 6 months' time. We don't know, right? If you want something bad enough, you pay whatever it needs to get it, right? Lee, would we be any weaker with Ryan Fraser in the team? Sell what's his face, Pepe, right? And get a proper defender and a holding midfielder. Would we be any weaker? I don't think so.
No, because we'd be stronger in other areas. I think the priority is a top-class central defender and a midfield player. But I don't think you should be writing off Pepe quite.
I'm not writing him off. I'm not writing him off, Lee, right?
There's other players to sell. There's other players to sell.
I'm trying to raise some money, mate. I'm trying to raise some money.
No. Well, I think there's other players to sell more that we sell before him. That's my opinion.
They've all got to go, Lee. They've all got to go, Lee. They've all got to go.
Well, not
necessarily. I think next season we can get away with the defence. I think we can get away with it. The problem that Arsenal have got, right, is our midfield players. It's a problem for our forwards, and it's a problem for our defenders. That middle part of that circle there is our biggest problem at Arsenal Football Club. What I'd be happy to visit in the summer when the transfer window comes up is to not buy any forwards, not buy any defenders, but to whack all our money into that set in our midfield. So that is our biggest problem, I'm telling you. It's our biggest problem.
Welcome to the show to Alex Wilden. Alex, again, the offer's still there, mate. If you want to come on the show, just give me a message on Twitter, and you're welcome to come on the show as well. Alex is saying, I also think this season should be null and void. Very contentious thing you said. I said it should be null and void, and I've had Liverpool fans sitting outside my house drowning me with Beatles music, driving me up the wall. You're 24 hours a day. Right? 24 hours a day.
I had a Liverpool fan block me on Twitter because I was talking about null and void. Like, really getting emotional. I never even cussed at him.
I mean, if Arsenal went to do 2 signings, that sounds like a good forward partnership, null and void. That's Arsenal's fun too.
Mate, they get more goals in our midfield.
Did you guys hear what they said today? Basically, they said any season that stops at this point will have to crown a champion, even if they do not continue. How does UEFA have that kind of power?
We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
No, who said that?
UEFA was basically saying if you're gonna not complete the season, you have to come up with top 4 and who's going to be in the competitions, and also who's going to win the champ.
But the one thing
UEFA didn't.
Wait, Steve. The one thing UEFA didn't want to do is have leagues pick and choose who the winner to the league was, and that was the main problem. They want everyone to be reading off the same hymn sheet. They want all of Europe to do the same thing. That's why they were slightly annoyed at Belgium in going in there first and saying, "You are crowned champions. It's null and void." They want Europe to work together so that they can start the following season at the same point. That's the thing. But
it's confused. It's mixed messages from the top, man. Football in general is ridiculous right now.
Look, you either try and complete the season, or you null and void it, and then you start with whatever the standards were at the start of last season. The same with the Champions League. The same. You can't mix and match it. You can't just stop the season now and pick a champion. Pick lawsuits galore. What about relegation? Picking a champion's all right, but what about relegation? What about top 4? What about top 6?
You know what they're trying to do in Germany, right? What they're trying to do in Germany is they're trying to basically increase the league size, because in Germany they have 18 teams in the Bundesliga, and they're trying to increase it to 20 and just promote the 2 top teams in the Bundesliga B.
That's the luck. That's the luck that they're in at the moment. But we don't want 22 and 24 teams in our league, because it's just saturating the market. Like, you don't want that. You've got teams in our league that don't actually deserve to be in our league. Then they're not good enough.
You know what? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when a natural disaster happens like this, as far as I'm concerned, you avoid it. You stick everyone's name in the hat for the Champions League places, and that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Because at the end of the day, in unforeseen circumstances, you can't go by last year's results. Last year's results got no reflection on this year's results. You know, you don't have a winner. You don't have a league title winner. You don't have a second. You don't have a third. You don't have a fourth. You don't have an FA Cup winner. You don't have nothing.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing.
You can't have 24 teams. We spoke about it on the transfer show the other day, and you can't bring Liverpool. Fair enough, you know, they're way ahead, but Leeds and West Brom, I mean, they've got no right to come up into the Premiership.
They're not even Championship.
Yeah.
They're not near it. Like Leeds were in a better. I think Leeds were in a better position last year and messed up. Like how are you crowning Leeds champions or promoting them?
Lee, right? Liverpool fans are crying. Liverpool fans are crying in their bubble, right? At the moment, they're 20 points clear, and it's not fair. Yeah. You know, I spoke to a bird in a nightclub for 5 hours, bought with drinks all night, and then she went off with another bloke with better car than me. That wasn't fair. But you know, at the end of the day, that's how it goes, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Listen, from my point of view, it's great. So you just, you know, next season hasn't even started. So finish this season first, whether it's next season or whatever, and you have to mess up things next season. Would you finish it? Would you finish it? Yeah, you've got to finish it. I think you've got to finish it, whether it be like in start of next season, you know, finish it and then start the new season after that, because you can make it up with no friendly internationals, have the FA Cup, no replays. The Champions League could just be a knockout stage for one season. You know, we don't have to have all these group stages and things like that. Just, you know, that'll give it all the time and all that. Next season don't matter, does it? Because it's not even started. But this season is done. As you see, Kieran's made a fantastic point there. Leeds were in a better position last season and didn't go up. So how can you turn around and go, right, them two teams are up there? And it's not only that. If it stays as it is and they have it next season, Spurs are back in the Champions League. I'm not having that, you know what I mean? Because they're out. They got knocked out this year. I'm not having it. You know what I mean? So, you know, is that fair that Spurs going in next season and Leicester don't? And Leicester are virtually guaranteed of a position in that. And before Arsenal fans start going on it, oh yeah, Man City get kicked out because we was fifth last season, we get in it. That ain't going to happen. No. You know, it's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen this year. So as soon as the season go back, if the season starts back in August, just finish the season and then worry about next season, because you know it doesn't matter, does it? What you can shorten it, longer up, do whatever. But I think it's a massive point with the guys, the teams coming up. You know, like you know, it's the financial gain for them two teams there to just say, right, we're not having it no more. You know, are they going to put up with that? Yeah, Liverpool have won the league. We know that. That's not an issue. But there's so many other issues that need to be sorted out. And listen, boys, I know we can all laugh and joke about it, but if it was Arsenal 24 points clear and everybody's saying none and void, we'd be going mad. You know what I mean? So
life is not fair, Lee. Life is not fair, mate.
We would be going crazy. No.
Yeah. You know,
we would. But
if it was Spurs, you'd be saying, yeah, none of void.
Can I tell you guys something? Can I tell you guys something? There was the baseball was in the same situation. They actually null and voided the season for disputes, and they just canceled the whole season in the middle of the season. And there was a baseball team that actually was top of the league. They were going to win the first ever title. The team was called the Montreal Expos. They actually got disbarred and taken apart because they couldn't survive after that season. And that's how disastrous these kind of situations can be. So the season should be finished, but if it doesn't finish, it can be very disastrous for teams like for down the bottom.
Everyone wants this season to finish. Everyone, and in an ideal world, this season gets finished. We all get to watch some football, and we get our summer back. The only thing is, everyone's league has to tie in together. We have to work as a unit and say, okay, Germany, okay, France, okay, Spain, Italy. We want to finish this league. So Champions League might be later on, but we have to work together and make sure we all try and finish our league.
It has to finish.
If it's not, then we can't say that the Champions League is not going to start without us.
Kieran, you know what? The league starting out as a fan, right, has got no relevance. As a fan, you know, if we're going to the Emirates, right, do you really feel like going now? I don't feel like going. You know what? It's like going back to it and watching a game of snooker after the interval. You've lost that thing for it, haven't you? It's pointless.
I don't know. I'm desperate, mate. I'm desperate to get back to it.
I'm dying to watch the football.
I'm desperate. I'm desperate to get back. I think the first time that ball's kicked.
I just
when
can't
that
see it
ball's
happening.
kicked at the Emirates, it's going to be emotional. It's going to be really emotional the first time they come out and they kick off.
Why?
It's going to be an emotional time, I'm telling you.
Why is it? I'll be emotional because Arsenal playing again.
You're always emotional.
Because they're shit. You know, what's so emotional? Just they're going to kick the ball for again.
No, I think it will be. I think the relief of seeing things go back to normality will be emotional for some people. But
It will for me.
we all want to see football. We all want to see football. I just can't see it happening.
Right, let me ask you a lot of questions, right? If the league finished, if the league finished, like say the league didn't finish and they started it again, and even if they played every single day, right?
Yeah.
How about the people who lost their jobs, right? How about people who lost their jobs, they've lost their lives, or there's been an event that they could never get back, right? So basically, everyone said that the league has to start, it has to finish. For some people, they can never go back to work. They can't feed their families. Don't forget, some people got boyfriends and girlfriends. They can't see their families for boyfriends and boyfriends, girlfriends and girlfriends. Let's be fair on everyone, right? Don't forget, you're not seeing someone, a loved one, your mum, your uncle, your aunt, your brother. You're not seeing people for 3 months. You can't get that time back. Life is not the same anymore, whether football comes back or not.
Sonny, we've gone through 2 world wars, mate, and football come back after that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people dying all the time and being bombed and everything like that. You know, football's a big thing. It's a big thing, not just for the players, not just, you know, that's why I don't, when they say, oh, it goes behind closed doors, nothing, it's about the players. It's a travesty, by the way, that if the FA have stopped all the non-league football and said, right, that's all null and void, right? Well, they've done that. Why won't they do it with the top leagues? Because it's all about money. It's about money.
Cool, 100%.
So you know, you know, football is a vital thing. You know, £300 billion goes to the Premier League as a whole gives to the government every year. So they're never going to say, right, that's, you know what I mean, that's not where we're going to do it, like, you know. It was only 4 weeks ago I was sitting there and watching, you know, like Cheltenham with thousands of fans when all this was going on, you know, because it was a money.
I think also, Lee, as well, Lee, I think like for me, we've probably all had terrible things happen at some point in their life, and football's always been that go-to event to take things away, or take things off your mind. You know, no matter what, it can be serious. You could have lost a parent. Anything could have happened. You know, and football's always that thing that you could go to for that few hours. You know, block it all off. You know, so I think loads of people will be, you know, buzzing to get back for it, and you know, I think there's going to be a lot of people out there who's going to be sick, and it's going to make them feel a lot better.
We're going to finish soon. But I'm come to you in a minute, kid. You're missing a vital point, right? You're missing a vital point. The vital point is the day football comes back doesn't mean the coronavirus is gone. Till everyone is tested in the whole world, we won't know if the coronavirus is gone. You might be standing next to somebody, right? You can also. We've never experienced this before. It might start all over and over again. You know, I don't want to go to a football ground with 60,000 people in it. Luckily, at the Emirates, you don't have to. They say there's 60,000 people there, and there ain't. You know.
Sonny, that's a great point. But there's sometimes you're going to have to go back to work. You know what I mean? There's sometimes you're going to have to do what you're going to do. Like,
well, psychologically, Lee, there's going to be a fallout after all this. You know, I'm saying.
I honestly think a lot of people are not going to go to football.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
You're going to decide not to go. You know, it's personal choice, isn't it? You know, I'll be honest. If you know, if everybody, I will go back because you know it's part of my life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I still play. You know, I try to. You know, for the vets team and all that. If they say, "Oh, we've got a game Sunday," I'll go and play. You know what I mean? But when it's safe, I will go and do that. You know, well, when the government tells me to do that, I will do it.
But
people
guys,
might not.
What are the clubs going to do for the civilians, the people, the fans in general? Like, I have season ticket holders here in the panel. Have they contacted you guys to tell you they're going to give you your money back for those games that are being missed? Have they contacted you guys at all?
Nothing's been decided. How can they?
They're still gonna send you out the letter saying the new season's starting soon. So come sign up for that.
They will delay. But
my whole thing is people's livelihoods are being taken away, and people's incomes are being taken away. They're going to have to do something to show they care about human beings and their fans in general, because society will not be coming out of this the same. This is a bigger recession than 2008.
But
And
like
it hit us faster than
teams,
2008.
like all football teams, they're waiting. The teams that have been quick to jump on furlough and sort of stand back when it comes to paying their non-playing staff have been lambasted. So clubs are waiting. They're being smart. They're waiting to see the situation rides out, and then they make their move. And you can't really blame them for that. Because if they turn around and say they're going to give you half your money back, and then the Premier League starts, what do? You got to buy your tickets again, or they lose out on that much money?
Half your money back. Arsenal probably charge you double for next season.
Yeah, we would.
We're going to finish now. We're going to finish now because we've been going an hour and 24 minutes. I'm going blind today. Seriously.
Yeah.
I must say, going blind. Yeah. Do you know what? The world has gone so mad, right? But you've all entered the world of me, Steve AFC, and Lee. Everyone's going to be bored, right? Everyone, because there's no barbers open. And Kieran,
I'm there, mate. I'm already there.
There's no barbers open.
I'm bored. I cut my own hair.
Whoa!
All you're going to see is a load of bald men walking everywhere. We're all going to be the same. No matter what you dress like, we're all going to be the same person. So anyway, we're going to finish now. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the comments. Please hit the like button, because you lot, anyone think it's painful to hit that like button? The phone does not self-destruct.
Yeah,
please
click
hit the like button
on the chat thing and press like.
If you support this channel, it is important that you do it, because it changes the algorithms on YouTube, and it's the only way we get noticed. Especially because I've lost my Twitter account for the 700th time. On Twitter, I think you're a bunch of wankers, by the way, right?
And there's new one gone.
But you know what it was? After all that, it wasn't me. Like Shaggy says, it wasn't me. So I just want to say thanks to Kieran.
I'd like to apologise for my poor reception. I'd called BT while I was in there, and I'm cancelling after tomorrow.
It's Joe. It's harder to cancel than it is to cancel. It's quite difficult. Steve, big up yourself, Steve.
Yep. So stay safe out there, everybody.
Melvyn, great to have you on the show again as usual.
Good night, everyone.
The kid, and we're going to leave the last word to the person that Joe. Just stick him in Danitry. Just let him make his decisions, because he's the only geezer who he tells you as it is. Lee Judges. Give us a bit of sense on things, Lee, and then we'll wrap up.
Let's just say safe out there, everybody, and thanks for having us on. Really enjoyed it. Hour and a half, and it's gone really quick. So, and it stopped me eating biscuits for an hour. So, thank you very much.
And you know what? If you're around Cheshunt and you need a bit of dry cleaning,
always pop in and see me. No problem.
Because we are no sponsors of Lee Judge's Dry Cleaners. We're out here, guys. Anyone who wants to come on the channel, it's always good to get different faces on, and you could be the next person on YouTube. Especially if you love yourself, you'd be watching yourself on telly all day. So what more do you want, right? So it's Twitter at Sonny Arsenal. Take care, everyone. Me personally, I can give a toss whether football come back or not. Because I'll see you later. Take care.
See ya, boys.